Welcome back, everybody, to the High Conflict Co-Parenting Podcast with Brooke Olson. My special guest this week is Ron Platt from the National Association for Single and Divorced Families. They're providing resources for families in divorce and for families in conflict. So, Ron, welcome. And
Thank
would you
you.
like to tell everybody a little bit about your organization and what you're about?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. We are the National Association for Single and Divorced Families, otherwise known as NASDF. We are an umbrella of products, services, support, and resources for people who are in the process of getting a divorce or have a single family household. So, services like mental health care, which is very important when people are getting a divorce, either themselves or their children might need mental health care. We provide 3 free mental health care sessions and discounted sessions thereafter. We have career services for those at home parents or people who are thinking about changing their careers. 25 videos on how to update your LinkedIn, how to get in front of a recruiter, how to update your resume, how to dress for success, how to look for a job, everything you could possibly think of to help you get back into the job force and to find that perfect job. And then if you still require one-on-one counseling, you want to kind of figure out what you want to do when you grow up. They do have coaches, and those coaches are offering us a 25% discount to our members. We have real estate services. A lot of couples need to buy or sell a property. We're the only association that it would refer you to a preferred realtor in your area. We receive a referral fee from that agent, and we in turn give that referral fee back to offset your closing costs. So you can see savings on your real estate transactions anywhere from, say, $1,000 to $15,000, depending on the price of your house. There's nobody else that can do that. We have early childhood discounts for La Petite Academy, UGRO, Montessori schools. If there's a waiting list, you get put at the top of the list. We have discounts for formulas, diapers, computer supplies with Lenovo, school supplies with Office Depot, Office Max.
So, Ron,
A ton of different benefits.
let's slow down here for a minute because I want to dive a little bit deeper into each one of these. You've got a
Absolutely.
ton of stuff going on here.
Absolutely.
We've got time to really kind of unpack this with you. So I was really fascinated when I spoke with you to have you as a guest on this because you have done something that I deem as pretty incredible. You've taken some really deep dives into the needs of these families and the resources that are there. And there are some things particularly here that I think are just amazing in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. It's a huge um, work that you've endeavored to take on here. Tell our listeners a little bit just of your background and how you got here and what drove you to begin to create this organization.
Thank you. I think it's a lot of life's journeys that I've been on. I've been in a what I call a non-divorce or an undivorce, where I was in a 14-year toxic relationship and had to break away from that when the person not only was verbally abusive but was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and the challenges that I had coming to the point of realizing that I wanted to be loved unconditionally versus conditionally. And a lot of us, when we're raised unconditional love, that's what we're used to. So that's the relationship we go into. And that was my situation. I was never making enough money. I was never doing enough. I just was never a good enough partner. And then one day I came to the realization that I'm done. And when I made that decision, there was the splitting of the house, of the proceeds that we had, and the conflict, and the attorneys that had to get involved, and basically me walking away with nothing but a tax debt that I had that was able to pay off when I sold the house, and that was it. I walked away completely empty-handed. So I understood the perspective from that. But the idea for the association actually started about 30 years ago when my dad and I were both in the insurance business doing product development. And people came to us with really niche products to place. And my dad was an idea man. And at lunch one day, he said, I want to create an insurance product that would guarantee child support and alimony if the payer died, become disabled, involuntarily unemployed, so they lost their job because the plant closed or there was a downsizing in their company, or if they're an entrepreneur and they had to declare business bankruptcy, it would be great if we could continue making those payments for up to a year. And I thought, that's brilliant. And then I thought,
It
well,
is absolutely brilliant.
he was a brilliant man. And then I said, well, we have an association that we're using for something else. Why don't we do what AARP does and do the same thing for people who are getting a divorce or have a single family household and provide products and services and this insurance and other things? And he said, that's brilliant. He did not want to start the company. He did not want to start the association until he placed the insurance. And that was probably the one niche product that we couldn't get done. We went to Lloyd's of London, we went to other carriers, and they all said they did not want to get involved in the divorce market for some reason. So we tabled it. And about 2 years ago, I ran across an investor. He and I were talking. He made me dust off the business plan, got me all excited, and then decided not to invest. He said, if it was such a good thing, why hasn't somebody done it before? And I said, well, AARP has 36 million members. Why hasn't somebody competed with them? He said, yeah, I heard that, but I'm going to pass. So I had to go ahead and remortgage my house, pull out some money, take out a bunch of credit card debt, and start the association because it really was a passion of mine. And I knew that it would succeed as an association standing on its own. Shortly after we did that, a friend of mine called up and said, did you ever place the insurance? I said, no. He introduced me to a 70-year-old underwriter who I loved because they're the original risk takers in this business. And I sent him everything I had, and he called back 2 weeks later and said, we're going to underwrite the insurance for you. And that I thought was incredibly healing. I remember looking up at my dad and going, I think I just got this done. So the insurance literally launched about 3 months ago. We just got the software on our website so that we can sell it. But to your question, that was one dream of being able to establish the insurance and the association. But a lot of the things that we have under the association comes from personal experiences. It comes from a bad breakup in a 14-year relationship. It comes from being a foster parent to a 13-year-old son who's now my son. I adopted him, but seeing the trials and tribulations that he had to go through to get certain services that the state wasn't able to provide, and seeing these other children that were also being uh, not properly serviced within the foster care system. My son would show me the homeless kids that were on the streets that he knew, and I realized that nobody was advocating for these children. Nobody was holding the states accountable for the lack of services that they were providing to these children. And then you have the family court systems, which were not making the right decisions or quicker decisions on what was best for these children. So my advocacy wanted to be geared towards foster care reform and family court reform, and this association enabled me to do that. I had a business partner who was in a abusive relationship with her husband, had to leave with her baby under her arm and through a doggy door because he had locked all the doors. And I watched her go through 10 years in family court trying to get full custody of her child. I had a police officer, male friend of mine, who was in an abusive relationship with his wife. She was being the one that was doing the abuse, not only with him, but the children. And he was trying to get custody of his children, and how the family court system was taking too long and these children were suffering. So I wanted to be able to have an outlet like AARP that advocates for Social Security. I wanted to be the outlet that advocated for family courts and for children. So that's where the passion came from. And the way that we can do that is the more members we have, the louder my voice gets. So that's the background on it.
So there's so much here that you guys have managed to pull together with this association. And it's without a doubt one of the hardest things that so many families go through, because the divorce process, especially when it's a high conflict type of a piece that so many of our listeners are in, it's financially debilitating. It is emotionally debilitating. It is physically debilitating. And to find the resources for young children, for adolescents, for parents of these children can be really
cumbersome.
That's the word. It's cumbersome. That those resources aren't there, especially when the financial resources are so short.
Right.
So what you've managed to do, and I'd like you to slow the pace down just a little bit and talk about what some of these resources that you've brought together, but also how you have gone about bringing these resources together. because I think understanding the work that you've done um, really anchors the work that you've done in this, so people can hear that this is not just a dreamscape, that this is a legitimate piece that's available for them now, and there's a membership that they can get into and begin to not just get support for themselves, but to support your mission
Mhm.
and to support other families in the same stride.
Mhm. When I started this, I realized that when I Google divorce, I get about 5 pages of attorneys, and it takes me forever to get to resources. So we wanted to be that resource outlet so that you didn't have to search. You just went to our website, looked under resources, and saw attorneys, mediators, divorce coaches, mentors, financial analysts, financial planners, everything that you could possibly need when you're in that process. One of the most important things I think we have on there is our mental health care, because I've had fathers reach out to me, I've had mothers reach out to me and say I need help. I was just on a podcast the other day where we were saying, what can men do? And I said men need to be able to realize that they don't have all the answers, and that they need to seek out mental health care, talk to a therapist. If you don't have a community of friends to be able to express yourself comfortably with, then get in front of a therapist.
We're the slowest to get there.
Correct, because we're macho, we can handle it. I was at the doctor the other day, a cardiologist, and he's like, if you feel anything, men don't usually, they're not in tune to their bodies. If you feel anything, go to the emergency room. I'm like, I'm very in tune to my body, but thank you. But it's how men operate. So we want to make sure that our mental health care is accessible to them. And right now we have 3 free mental health care sessions. In about 2 months, we're going to be going to 8 free mental health care sessions per condition. So if you have anxiety and depression, you can actually get up to 16 free mental health care sessions. And that applies towards your children as well as yourself. So
How is
that,
that funded?
yeah, I'm sorry.
How is that funded?
It comes off of our membership dues, the $19 that you're paying every month. We've
Mhm.
allocated a certain proportion of that to go to the company that's offering it. It's a company called Recuro Health, and that's what they're known for, is mental health and some other things that they do as well. So we
Okay,
wanted to make sure that we had the best provider for our members.
nice.
Yeah. Uh, the resources, there's a lot of, we had somebody come to us recently. It was a woman that her husband controlled all the finances, and she couldn't afford to hire an attorney. So what I'm trying to do right now is seek out a bank that will put together a credit card for us that would pay for attorney fees, mediators, and court costs. So that if you don't have the money, you could apply for the credit card with a low credit score, maybe up to $10,000 worth of maximum limit, and you can have that accessibility to hire that attorney. We Somebody called and said, "Can you do a registry?" I thought, that's brilliant. You need everything when you're leaving, or one partner is leaving and they leave all the furniture behind and they have to start from scratch. Why not put out a registry? Well, we found the registry through a company called Fresh Start, and you could go in there, register for everything you need. We've had abusive people that have been in abusive relationships that needed help, so we are trying to align ourselves with more women's abusive centers, men's abusive centers. We want to make sure that we're catering to both men and women. We want to be non-political, non-religious. We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable here so that they can feel that they can reach out to us. And if there's something you need that we haven't already thought of, that's where the insurance niche guy comes in, where I would always find a way to place the insurance. I have the same need to be able to try to provide the benefits that our members are, because we can't think of everything. And people are coming to us all the time saying, can you do this? Can you do that? I can't do that, but I can do this. Let me put that together. So we want to be that one-stop shop.
So when when a family has the resources available to them, it brings the anxiety down. It brings the fear of the process down, and it allows them to be a lot more present.
Mhm.
And again, this process of going through divorce, especially when it's contentious, um, so many people can't get the small things that they need to get to the next piece, not just access to attorneys, which you are helping them have provided. There's the simple things that make a child have a sense of things are okay, which
Right.
allows a more congruent continuum of development for them.
Hmm.
And some of the things that, when I was looking at the resources that you guys have access to, discounted diapers, formula, diabetic and medical supplies, these type of things zap the core resources that are needed for food and education, and providing that platform for safety for a family that generationally begins to change the process. Because if they don't get that, being in that constant sense of need, not just want but need, really restricts the expansion and the growth of a family and of a child's development. And I just, these pieces that you have provide so much of that.
Yeah. And we realize that some people can't afford health insurance. Many people can't afford health insurance, even through Affordable Care. So we want to be able to. We were just on the phone today with a company that has a prescription drug card with a zero deductible on it. We were through our relationship with Aflac. Aflac has some great products out there that are only accessible through employer groups, through employers, not individuals. So they've made an arrangement with us that if our members come through us to go to Aflac, they will provide the same employer benefits, such as, you always see the Aflac duck giving out money.
Yep.
And I think their marketing is horrendous because I'm in the insurance business and I don't understand it. But we have large deductibles on our health insurance. I'm always getting billed for things every time I go to the doctor for every little thing. They have a program where you can actually, it does not cost much to buy a monthly program. I think it depends on the program, $35, $100 a month. That will help offset those deductibles for you. So now you can go back to the Affordable Care and increase the deductibles that you have there, which would save you money every month, and then buy one of the Aflac, what I call a deductible buyback programs, that enables you to get cash back every time you go to the doctors. So, I mean, this is just one example of what we can do as an association that you can't get directly as a consumer.
So you've got Learning Care Group
Yep.
through Petite Academy, and UGRO.
Montessori.
Talk about that for a minute.
So my son actually had our granddaughter at La Petite Academy, and there was there was a waiting list. Had he joined the association, he would have been put at the top of the waiting list. And then there's discount on the application, and I think the educational care as well. And they have a ton of different facilities under their site, under the Learning Care site. So it's not just La Petite Academy or Montessori or UGRO. There's a lot more companies under there.
You've really gone to the places that I would not expect somebody to think about in this arena. And you've thought this through. It's like, what do families need? Where do they struggle? What are the expenses that come in that zap the resources for a single dad, a single mom that are struggling to keep a roof over their head and food on the table? You've got a mechanic hotline.
Yeah, we do.
Right?
Which I wasn't sure. Like, yeah, okay, let's throw it in there. We were trying to get pet insurance in there, but we haven't found the right price yet. I mean, even you want to save money on pet care as well, but I'm still shopping that. Yeah, and I also want them to be aware of what Support Insured is all about. We have people out there that want to make sure that their child support and alimony payments are going to continue getting paid. So if you want to ensure that, and the prices are on our site, nasdf.org, you can go to the Support Insured button and you'll see the prices on there. So it's based off of the amount that you're receiving in child support and alimony, and your age is how it's determined. But basically, like I said, if the person who's paying dies, becomes disabled, or loses their job because they were downsized by the company, or their company had to lay them off, or the company closed, or if you're an entrepreneur, let's say you own a restaurant, the economy changes, you have to close the restaurant, and you say, I can't afford to make these payments, we will go ahead and make those payments on your behalf for up to a year. And what we found is that usually gives the payer enough time to get back on their feet. It also means the payee doesn't have to call the attorney, go back to court, and have all the extra expenses of trying to get him to or her to pay the money that they're supposed to pay. Not expensive at all. I don't quote me on this, but I think for like $2,000 a month, it's like $535 for the year. So it's less than $10 a month, and it's not even $10 a month. So it's very affordable, and it provides that level that nobody else. We're the only people in the market today that has that product.
How did you how did you convince investors or pull this piece together? That is, first of all, again, it's brilliant. It is such an asset to somebody that is in this arena.
Yeah.
It, I think, gives people a sense of, okay, I'm walking a fine edge. I may lose my job. What am I going to do if I lose my job or my business and I can't provide that resource for my children? Brings the anxiety level down.
Yep.
Gives them a place where they can um, find their footing as you suggested. But as I'm talking about this, I'm also considering this notion of when money stops in this arena, anxieties on both sides go up.
Mm-hmm.
And people start leveraging the child
Mm-hmm.
for that resource.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not paying, I'm not going to give you access.
Right.
Which is, first of all, not legal, but it happens all of the time. And
Right.
when that happens, we're back in court, we're dealing with attorneys, resources are getting zapped. The children are caught in the middle of this financial bind. The parents are saying things about the other parent that the child has to hear because those anxieties are up and it's
Yep.
somebody else's fault. I mean, that notion erases or at least diminishes so much of that, I would believe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that to be what happens here?
Yeah, I think on top of that, yes. And it also provides the payee with a stronger financial foundation. And if the payer decides that they don't want to purchase the insurance, the payee can purchase it on the payer's behalf. So it gives them that flexibility as well. I think it provides right now the only thing they can do is buy life insurance, which is the predominant settlement on a divorce. Is that we're going to go ahead and ensure that if the person who's paying dies, that the children are going to continue getting child support for until they're 18 or 21, whatever the agreement is. Well, that's fine, but what happens if they don't? So we wanted to be able to provide that level of protection so that they know that financially, and it really, like you said, it does eliminate a lot of conflict because now the person who's paying might be genuinely a good parent who wants to be able to pay. Circumstances happen. So we want to be able to mitigate that circumstance as best as we can by providing this. I've had attorneys that have high end clients that are like, well, my clients make millions of dollars. They would just go to court and stop the payments. I'm like, well, that's great. But what about the person receiving it? And well, they have assets. They could use their assets. Most rich people I know don't want to use their assets. They want to use their salaries.
Mm-hmm.
So even for them, that has a benefit to be able to purchase the insurance. It
So
really builds that strong foundation for them.
I have two questions along those lines.
Yeah.
One, what would prevent somebody from abusing this? Because I think that there's an opportunity for abuse. What are the parameters that you've got there? And then I've got a follow-up question.
Yeah. So when there's a time for a claim, that first of all, when you fill out the application, it says, how long have you been with the employer? Has it been longer than 90 days? Are you currently ill, or are you currently disabled? What was the last time that you were unemployed? I mean, there's a slew of questions that are asked. So as long as they fit within that parameter, that they've been with their employer for a good period of time, that they're not up for to be fired or to be let go, that they don't have any disabilities or anything like that, then they qualify. And when the time comes that they have to put in a claim, and I realized that they purchased the insurance today and they made the claim yesterday, is that there's a 90-day lag. You have to have 90 days before you put in a claim, because we want to make sure, and we're going to call to check, like, was he employed? What's the circumstances? If it's a disability situation, you have to be disabled for a certain period of days, just like you would if you apply for disability with the government. And we will call and verify that the disability did not occur prior to the policy being issued. So there is, at the time of the claim, there's a good amount of investigating that goes in to make sure that none of these things were happening prior to the policy being in effect.
Okay. So again, as we're having this conversation, Ron, this feels to me like something when somebody is doing their MSA or they're putting their parenting plan together that includes the dictates of what are going to be provided for the parent or the child in this process, that the mediator could put into, or the parents could ask the mediator to put into, or the judge to even put into that order, that this be a part of the settlement or a part of the court order. Yep. Is there a place here where you feel that you could get a judge to order that piece in there?
Absolutely. In fact, what we're trying to do here in the state of Florida is make it a law that every divorce has it automatically. So currently in Florida, I know, right? Currently in Florida, they do have to purchase life insurance. It's the law. So I've already spoken to a lobbyist who's a good friend of mine, and he feels very confident that they would be able to attach support insured to that law to make it that they do have to purchase the life insurance long term, and they do have to purchase support insured with every divorce. And we're going to go state by state trying to make it the law for every divorce, because we do see the value and the protection for it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an incredible value here, and again, the more people you get into that, the better foundation that this organization has to continue to operate, to provide, to, when we spoke, you talked about using the template from remind me,
NASDF or
no, AARP.
Yes.
And again, here's an organization that's huge, and if you're using that template, you're drawing on stuff that's already been done. This creates a whole new game plan for people that are going through divorce.
Yep.
I think even as I'm talking about this, it creates an ability for people that are in abusive relationships, a look at, okay, I can go in this direction, I can get help, I can afford to actually make this jump.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And I also want to throw in there that here in Florida, and I'm trying to get the company that's providing this for us to go nationwide, they provide free help for child custody issues. So if they have free parenting agreements, they show you how to go ahead and file with the courts. They advise you. It's an incredible organization. Our children have rights. Our children have rights. It's a great nonprofit organization here in Florida. We have reached out to another one in Pennsylvania that offers the same services, and completely free of charge.
When do you sleep?
Around 10:30 at night, after I meditate to slow my mind down.
And then you get about 2 hours of sleep and you start again, right?
No, I sleep very heavily, thank God. I need a lot of rest to be able to do this every day.
So, as I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you guys are working with the AFCC too to try to get some changes in the legal system. Is that accurate?
We will be. So we're trying to build up our membership. We're putting on about between 2,500 and 3,000 new members every month. When we reach about 500,000 members, then we will be able to start advocating for the foster care and the family court reform. My co-parent is setting up the advocacy for the prevention of intergenerational poverty. There's a lot of great institutions that have scenarios that are working throughout the country. We want to be able to help fund that and expand it throughout the country. Great success models that we want to be able to provide to other communities that don't know about it at the moment.
This is a piece that is really close to my heart, and you just mentioned it, the intergenerational poverty. I mean, this is something that generationally repeats, not just from a poverty piece, but from a mental health piece,
Yep.
from an educational piece, from a platform of people being able to just actually rise up and be able to find their own agency and do this. So the base pieces that you're putting here, um, I think begin to provide that. You've got a conversation in motion here. And again, I'm just drawing on our last conversation that we had, and I want to bring this forward for our listeners. Um, you're working on creating a lobby
Hmm.
so you can influence legislators
Yep.
locally,
Nationally.
statewide, and
Yep.
nationally.
Yep. Again, AARP is our model. We've met with AARP, and they have agreed to mentor me on these projects because they've done it so well. I don't have to recreate it. I just follow their model. Their advocacy is geared towards Social Security, Medicare, and the prevention of elder fraud.
Mhm.
So a congressman doesn't say, "I'm going to cut Social Security" without hearing from the 38 million members that AARP has.
Right.
You don't want to piss them off. That's kind of where we want to be at. They have a large portion of their revenue, which is, I think, in excess of $2 billion that they use towards this advocacy. We want to be as large as them, and we've already established that we don't the co-founders we don't need to be billionaires. We can't possibly, everybody wants to be a billionaire these days. We're like, we want to be $1 billion business, but we want to be able to take 3/4 of that money and pour it back into society, be able to get these laws changed, be able to have these groups to figure out what is the best form, what is the best model for a proper foster care system. And there's lots of great ones out there. How do we bring that entire community together, social workers, private institutions that are doing it correctly, and come up with a model that we can go state by state with? I want to be able to offer grants to companies like our family. Our family has, our children have rights. I want to be able to give grants to other organizations that are doing great things for people in our community that don't have the resources. So our full intention is to be able to take this revenue that we have and give it back. And that's unfortunately why it was so hard. We never got a investor to invest in our company because we're not a tech or a pharma or a crypto or any of that stuff. We're a society type business. So that's why I had to take it out of my own personal funds to go ahead and open up the company to build it so that I can say I don't have to answer to anybody. If we want to be able to create a grant for a specific group of people that we think are doing a great job, we're going to do that. Even when we talk about investors that are not willing to invest in societal issues, we had said at one point we want to set up a separate fund account for companies like us that want to help society and can make money doing it, but investors are reluctant to do it because it's not cool, or it's not a guaranteed money maker. We
Mhm.
will set up a fund so that people can come to us and say, I want to start a business that can do this, and give them the opportunity that we haven't had.
So, Ron, every business has blind spots, right?
Correct.
And you guys are diverse and inclusive
Yep.
across all platforms.
All
And
platform.
you work with mothers, fathers, partners across
Yep.
all of the parenting
Yep.
spectrum here. Again, just as we're talking here, how do you vet organizations that you bring in? Because in this arena,
Yeah.
there is a lot of people out there that are passionate about something
Yep.
that is not inclusive, that is very um, divisive
Hmm.
in their conversations.
Hmm.
They speak about villainizing different aspects of this, and in my arena, when that pops in, I just go, whoa.
Hmm.
Vilifying a particular group or um, portion of society, a particular type of parenting, whatever that is, that can be a problem. And when there is, let's say, investment involved, how do you vet that and decide yes or no?
Great question. Let me give you a little background on me. I'm a first generation Holocaust survivor. So I heard the atrocities that my family had to go through during World War II. I saw my family members who survived. And as such, I was always told never to be quiet about something that I feel passionate about. And that if I feel if somebody's being wronged, to speak up, because there's so many people that don't. They think it doesn't affect me, so why do I need to say something? So I'm that person that speaks up and says, yeah, I don't like that. Like, we need to change that. And I call people out on their shit all the time. Excuse my French.
That's
And then
fine.
I've got my co-founder, who's as strong, if not stronger than me, about certain things that she has gone through, that she advocates for. So every time we partner with somebody, we do deep dives on all of them. We want to know what their political views are, what their religious views are, what their opinions of the LGBTQ community. I know we don't use the word DEI anymore, but in this company we still use DEI,
Good.
and we want to gear our community towards people that are open minded enough that they will accept everybody. So it is our passion that we do deep dives with all of our companies, and we've excluded many companies out because of that situation. We want to partner with grocery stores and large retailers. But if we do a deep dive and see that they are very cited on one side of the political spectrum that is against DEI regulations or people's ability to have their own rights, we have to pass. Then thank God there's plenty of grocery stores out there that don't do that. And there's plenty of retailers out there that don't do that, that they stay out of the political arena. We're happy to be able to do business with them. And we make it known that myself and my co-founder are both of the LGBTQ community. So we want to make sure that whatever we provide is open to everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many trap doors there that can open, and when people start to swing in different directions without that open mindset to solve problems, which is what we're here to do. It's a problem solving platform.
And I think a lot of those people don't think that there is a problem. That, well, if they can't afford to support themselves, that's their problem, not mine. Well, it's
Right.
a society problem if they
Yeah.
can't do it. It's not that they're necessarily lazy. I mean, if you take a look at the food stamp and the housing subsidies that are out there, it's not that these people aren't out there working and busting their butts to make it happen. It's expensive. It's expensive to educate our kids. It's expensive to buy food these days. It's expensive. Housing is expensive. And if you've got two or three kids, people say, well, they shouldn't have had so many kids. So what? you know,
We've got that. It's a society piece, and if we can look at this from the perspective of this is a village and it's a global village.
exactly. That if
Um,
I can help my neighbor
mhm,
be self-sufficient and support their family, then that's going to be better for everybody. That means
right.
that they're going to be able to afford to buy furniture and groceries and live in a nice house and educate their children and get them out of the situation that they're in, which is more so geared towards what my co-founder is doing, the prevention of intergenerational poverty. Is like, how do we break that chain? You've got a situation where people are taking public assistance, but if they make too much money, if they reach a certain threshold, that cuts off. Well, how about getting them to a point where they can go above that,
Yeah.
keep them in continue getting the public resources that they get until they can become self-supportive, come off of it easily, and be able to afford to do it on their own.
There's
But
a huge
sometimes we
gap in
cut
the
it
middle
off.
of
We cut it off too soon, and it keeps them in that situation where if we could get them over that hump, they can be self-sufficient.
Get them past the gap.
Get them past the gap. Exactly. So that's what we're gearing towards, and that's. I mean, I consider myself a coach as well. I sit with a friend who's trying to start a business. I'm like, all right, what do we got to do? Like, what's the plan of action? And I sit down because I want to see them succeed. I want to see whatever their passion is to come to fruition.
Problem solving.
Exactly.
And teaching people how to problem solve.
Exactly. How to have confidence in themselves, even during this conflict, high conflict divorces. People walk away feeling like they're not worthy, that they've completely screwed up. My life is how could I have gotten in this situation? You know, I look at myself as an example. When I left that 14-year relationship, it was also during the Great Recession, and I'm a realtor. So not only did my business go from making six figures to nothing, but I was living like a king, and suddenly I didn't have the king salary anymore. I had to get rid of the cars in the garage. I had to sell the house. I opened up the refrigerator and looked in the fridge, and for the first time in my life, and I was 40 at the time, I didn't have money for food. And I thought, what am I going to do? And on top of that, I had a bad partner who was jacking up the electric bill and not contributing, and I had a mortgage payment, and it was over consuming. And I really thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I had to start from scratch. And I remember I was at one point I had a great offer on the house, and my ex was not willing to sign the contract. His attorney was telling him not to. And I literally broke down and started crying, and my broker happened to walk in at the time, and I was holding on to her, and she said, it will get better. And I'm like, I don't know how. I can't get him out of my house. I can't get the house sold. I don't have any money. I mean, how is this ever going to end? But I will tell you what happened. I had a business coach that I had to let go at the time because there was no money to pay him. But throughout my career in real estate, I had learned how to journal my thoughts. I had established gratitudes. I had established daily affirmations. And that was the base of me starting over.
Yeah.
Is journaling my fears, is getting up in the morning, taking my dog for a 5-mile walk and doing my affirmations and my gratitudes. Because even though things were shit, I still had things good that were going on in my life that I had to recognize. So,
and this is the foundation of what you're doing now.
Correct.
And what I want to say to that, to our listeners, is so many of us, myself included, have come through that portal through divorce and through the custody stuff of having everything crash and starting from scratch. But this is where resiliency happens, one. And two, this is oftentimes where our path opens up. This is where we look at and go, okay, this is what I want to change. And so many of the people that I work with end up wanting to do something in this arena, whether it is taking one of my coaching trainings, taking one of my teacher trainings, just working with me through those processes and becoming an advocate for other people in this. And we don't learn that without going through that.
Correct.
And life isn't about comfort. Life is about learning how to navigate discomfort.
Correct.
And rise through that and learn through that. And again, I just want to come back to what you're doing here, Ron, because you have created something that gives a foundational piece for people to rise from. It doesn't take care of it for them,
right,
but it gives them those basic pieces to be able to find that agency, to move into their world and give their children the basic needs that they require so the parent can move forward.
Yep.
So again, I just, yeah, this is really
and I want to share that the bigger we get, I call it the Costco effect. You know, Costco has, I think, like, I don't know, 100 million members, which is crazy when I looked it up, you know, and they're able to go to retailers and get better discounts. The bigger we get, the more services and products we're going to be able to offer that are going to be cheaper to come through us than to go direct. Because that single family part of our association, I want to make sure that, yes, you're divorced, great, we've helped you, but we also want you to stay on board to help you as a single parent, as a single household. Or even as a single person that you want to take advantage. Whoever wants to join the association can join. But the more members, I get up to 100, 200, 300,000 members, I'm going to AutoNation and saying, hey, I want you to offer my clients a discount when they go to buy a car. I want to go to companies like Publix or Safeway or the grocery stores and say, I want you to offer my clients discounts for children for like formulas, diapers, baby products, whatever. And just keep going on and also work with other retailers on trying to get them to offer their employees benefits by coming through us as well. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and that's what we're based off of, is wanting to get this thing really big.
Yeah, have you gone to Costco to ask them to give a discount membership to your people?
I did. They didn't care. They're like, yeah, we don't need to.
Okay, we don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need you. That's why I looked them up and wow, you got 100 million members. You're right. I don't need you don't have to give my members a discount.
So again, Ron, I want to thank you for coming in here, because I think that this is of great value to our listeners, for so many of them to be able to have these types of resources. So what we're going to do here is, one, I'd like you to let our listeners know how they can contact you, how they can get involved with your organization, whether they want to do that from a investment piece or a engagement piece with you, or whether it's from a parent in need piece. And then once you've done that, we've got hopefully some people here that are listening live right now. I want to open this up for some questions that they can ask. Sometimes we've got people in here, sometimes we don't. Sometimes people ask, some people times they don't, but I want to open it up for that. So let's start with how people can contact your organization and be a part of it in whatever way they can.
Yep. Just like it says on the screen there, nasdf.org is our website. Support Insured is on there as well. If you want to reach out to us direct, just go to info@nasdf.org and we will respond to your request. We're on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Everything's under NASDF.org. You can even go to our YouTube page, NASDF.org. And we have a ton of podcasts that we have. Even this one will be on there when I get the results for them. But I mean, we've got coaches. I've got fathers that are giving advice on how to be a better parent. I've got therapists on there giving us advice. I mean, I think I've got like 35 videos on there, if not more already, with a ton of advice that will help you through the process. Career service wise, once you join, you get access to the 25 videos, which are freaking amazing as far as helping you restart your career or get into a better job. So that's how you reach me, nasdf.org, or if you want to reach me direct, info@nasdf.org.
Thanks again, Ron.
Absolutely.
So let's open this up and see if there's anybody in here that's live with us now that wants to engage with us. We'll give this 3 or 4 minutes, and if they're not, we'll move on. So Mossy, if we had anybody live in here with us yet or along the way?
There's no alcohol in here. It's just water. It's not 12 o'clock. Oh, it is 12 o'clock. Okay.
So Mossy is telling us that there's nobody currently with us, and we can go ahead and close this, but I'm going to stop.